In another episode of Teams Have Way Too Much Control Exerting Their Own Power, we turn to this big, powerful club. And first say hello to Sam Blum, Anaheim Angels beat writer and reporter with The Athletic. Blum has made himself readily available and given honest interviews on the state of baseball and the Angels franchise. That's when we turn to this guy, Angels team president, John Carpino. He worked his way up through the org and was anointed team pres in November of 2009. This is a story that involves transparency, media honesty, holding the rich and powerful accountable in sports, and those in those confines waving their magic wand of power to silence some. Blum would tweet, "I was informed by AM 830, Angels team-owned radio network, I'm no longer welcome back on their Beat Reporter Roundtable program because I bring negativity to an upbeat show. I was told the decision was made by team president John Carpino." Let's just paint the picture of how abysmal of a franchise this is. They have arguably the best hitter in the game and the best pitcher in the game. They haven't had a winning season since 2015. They have not made the playoffs in almost a decade. That's negative. That's the product they put on the field, however. Blum would continue, "I strive to be fair in my coverage. Sometimes that means being critical." Amen. "Sometimes that means highlighting good things / people in the organization. I have countless examples of both. Over 2 years on the beat, it's worth noting how the Angels can attempt to filter their team-owned media. This came as Blum reported on the team's decision to not send radio broadcasters on the road. The only other team to do so was the Toronto Blue Jays. Angels owner Artie Moreno, with a net worth of over $4 billion, cited costs as the reason, adding there's just no benefit. Quick break. Blasphemous. That is a blasphemous thing to say. There is a different perspective that radio broadcasters, television broadcasters even, will have. It's altered in a negative way if they are not at the field of play to see everything going on at all times. They are dependent on monitors and what we see on television in order to make the call. This is a horrible move. SI's affiliate Fan Nation wrote of Blum's reporting, "The budget for a radio broadcast team was somewhere in the $185,000 to $200,000 a season range. That is far less than the major league minimum for one player." Mike Farron, who now hosts a show with MLB Network, previously served as the Arizona Diamondbacks' broadcaster, said, "You want to be able to do the job right, and if you're doing it the right way, you're taking advantage of access you have as a broadcaster that not even beat writers have." That's when Jeff Fletcher of the Orange County Register put this in. "I have let the Angels radio team know that I will no longer appear on the Reporters Roundtable either." Joe Lucia of Awful Announcing, he would write, "If the Angels want to pull reporters from a show because they think they're too negative, that's their right. However, that's not going to eliminate any perceived negativity. If anything, it will turn a seemingly objective beat reporter roundtable into a cheerleading session. It's not a beat reporter's job to be relentlessly positive about a team. And if that's what the Angels want, maybe they should work harder to eliminate the negative elements instead of the coverage of that negativity." Lastly, a longtime sports host, Adam Shine of CBS Sports, would write, "Sam Blum is a sensational journalist. He exposed the truth on the Angels' embarrassing, inexplicable, cheap decision to not have the radio team travel. Disservice to the fans." I agree with that. "Angels once again prove they are clueless, weak cowards. I bet Ohtani takes notice." I bet he doesn't. I don't think Shohei Ohtani is going to make a decision in free agency solely because they didn't send a radio team on the road and or one journalist being taken off of a radio show. I think Shohei Ohtani is going to go somewhere where he wants to make $500 million, which, according to many in the space, believe he's worth, and also a team that wants to win. Lastly, there was a media scrum when Donald Trump was president where he told the media, you know, you should be nicer All you do is write negative. You need to be nicer. That's exactly how this feels. It feels Trumpy. It feels wrong. Demanding that a journalist be nicer to you when your team is awful. Now, I think there are different ways to go about it, right? We've heard the term treated with kid gloves before. I don't think that's fair. I think being honest, speaking your truth, being objective as a journalist, as a member of the media at all times, that's allowed. Just not going over the top with it, not being vulgar with it, being passionate, but not out of bounds. There is no reason to believe Mr. Blum was anything of the like. And now I agree with the previous tweets that the Angels are exerting their own power to put out more positive images of a glaringly depressing product that has been in motion since the Mike Scioscia days, excuse me. So I'm curious. What exactly is next, and who is going to be that next person to step in and kiss the ass of Artie Moreno and Mr. Carpino? Remains to be seen.